about that. Waking up at the break of dawn. When I get back, the girl is gone. My heels are dirty and my shoes are thin. She know by now that's the business I'm in. Make a little money, make a little love, get a little help from the Lord above. Make a little money, make a little love, get a little help from the Lord above. Make a little money, make a little love, get a little help from the Lord above. Make a little money, make a little love, get a little help from the Lord above.
Good morning, London, and welcome back to my live stream, daily live stream on Facebook. Today is Thursday. Yes, nearly. The week is nearly finished. So good morning, everyone, and good morning, Kanichi-san. Yes, welcome to see you back, and I hope you enjoyed that little video that I just played. It was actually done a few years back now, and I thought I would, had time to dig up a little bit of my old video archive and just play something here. So hopefully you guys enjoy that little clip there. Yeah, it was a photo shoot that I was doing for Lomography, and Tracy was filming it and editing it. So it was, she did a fantastic job there. So you see the photos were coming up from a very old vintage lens, but it was modernized by Lomography. I don't know if they still sell that lens, but it was a cracking little old lens that you can adapt to any Leica M cameras, or by adapters to any other digital mirrorless cameras these days. And I did use it on my Olympus OMD, but because it's a 50 millimeters, so it becomes a 100 millimeters 1.8. But it's a pretty cool lens, and you can see that it's very old school, and the rendering is very very 1960s. Got a lot of halos going on. It's definitely not sharp at all. And good morning, Trevor. Yes, hope you guys enjoyed the new kind of video opening. And I don't know if I can find any more to play, and obviously they might be a bit longer than this one. So I'll see. I might just create a just a normal generic opening video for my daily stream to just to create a little bit more of a production value. Good morning, Barana. Yay, we got regulars. That is fantastic. I love to see you guys. So how are you guys? First up, and Thursday now, and hope you guys are all good and well. Not too bored staying at home. I am a little bit bored, to be frank, but I got a lot of work to do, and especially that the kids has been giving me a lot of hassles and headaches, but they're laughing in the background at the moment. They've probably heard what I just said. No, it's all good, but with kids at home, you just can't work. So what happened for this entire week is I just basically work late, and during the day I try to work a little bit or reply emails. I do work, a bit here, a bit there. I just couldn't get into it. So the only time I could really consistently work for a few hours is after they go to bed, and so that's my kind of daily routine at the moment. So yeah, speaking of routine, today I broke the routine a little bit because we usually have a morning exercise session that we've been consistently doing since the beginning of last week. So today we didn't do that any because my wife has gone out to do some food shopping. It's been 2 weeks now, so it's time to kind of replenish our fridge a little bit, and hopefully we don't have to go again for another week or two. So she's gone out queuing up in the supermarket at the moment. Hopefully we can get some nice fresh produce back, and so we can cook something. And yeah, so the kids are here, so I'm looking after them. That's why we didn't do any exercise this morning. So that's my day, and let me know how you guys get on with your lockdown, whatever you are experiencing at the moment in your country. Good morning, Marcel. Good morning, John. No, not at all, not at all. It's perfectly okay, mate. Yeah, John, yeah. Don't worry, I leave my videos on my timeline, so you can always check back later on anyway. So it's all good here. So I got a little bit of topic today, of course. Let me see if it's still the same thing. Right, I did a YouTube live yesterday talking about this particular subject, and sensor size, does it matter? You know, like this is something that I always talk to people a lot, and or people ask me a lot of times. So, you know, does full frame is better than like smaller sensors like APS-C or micro four thirds, or is medium form really is the holy grail in digital photography? You know, in science terms, if you really look at the scientific numbers and specifications and test charts and things like that, yes, you can say that, because of course, you know, the bigger the photosite, the better it absorbs the light, and that means that you got better low light performance, you got higher dynamic range, and so forth. But ultimately, as a photographer, you know, you shouldn't be limited by the sensor size, the technical limitation from the sensor. You know, to be quite frank, you know, like 99.9% of the digital products that you can get on the market these days are good. They're all great, no matter what. So the question is whether you can use whatever you pick up to create a photograph. And it's really good that I last week and during my YouTube session, and I asked the question if anyone watching want to send me some photo that I could demonstrate and to show people, you know, what you can actually do, or do a critique session. We have a lovely gentleman, Anton, actually sent me a photograph that he took during a concert. So I want to show you guys that picture because it's amazing. First, and you wouldn't believe me what he took it from. So I'm gonna show it to you right now. Let me just show it here. Right? Okay, the sun is shining. I know, Marcel, I know. I see the sun right here, but I can't go out, which is a shame. So there we go. So guys, this is the photo that Anton took from a gig, and is absolutely stunning. Really, really good. I cannot stress enough that, you know, the execution was perfect. You know, the timing was right. The lighting was absolutely bang on. There's no blown out bits. There is the shadows well controlled. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure the editing's from there. You know, like that could be the spotlight in the middle, or he deliberately add more vignetting to the photo to highlight the center of the subject. So this is something that could be done in post processing, but I like the composition. I like the atmosphere, the energy in the photo, and that is really, really well executed. But because today's subject is all about sensor size, so I want you guys to guess what this photo was taken from. You know, and have a guess. Let me just bring up the smaller version so you can continue to see on screen. Let me know what you think about this photo, and then also, and secondly, what camera he used to take this photo. You know, have a guess, and then you can make your decision to see whether this is a really, really good photo, because there's another few photos that he also sent me to prove the point. So have a guess while I'm talking about other things. So like I mentioned before, sensor size, of course, is important depending on what you use, but as a photographer, you should be able to dictate the outcome, you know, based on whatever camera you use. For myself, you know, okay, yeah, I am ambassador for Olympus, so I use micro four thirds gear, and I wouldn't disagree that, you know, like there are other formats there would have some sort of advantages on certain area and certain aspects. But for me, for what I use, and I simply love the Olympus gears because the ergonomic, the performance, the size, and the weight combinations, I get to show what I need. You know, that's full stop. And I still think it's a very, very capable system and a platform, especially for now that I do both filming and photography. So the system tend to be, I mean, the Olympus system is really, really good for that, and I genuinely like the overall versatility of the system that it provides. So that kind of my take on the Olympus system. And so, have you guys got any answers about this this photo? No? Right. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of give you the answer now. So this shot was taken with Sony RX104. Right. It's a small point and shoot camera, you know, a premium compact. It has a 1.8 lens, I believe, the Mark IV. So which is, you know, perfectly fine. It's from a 1-inch sensor. It's 20 megapixel 1-inch sensor. So does that mean, you know, if you're looking back at this photo, I'm going to go blow it big again. And if you look at this photo, you know, does it look like it's coming from a 1-inch sensor? This is relatively low light, and of course, there's spotlights shining onto the main subject, Iggy, the singer, in the middle of the frame. So that's absolutely the Trevor. Yes, I know you were there, and so yeah, it's perfectly well executed shot. So that really proves the point, in terms of the a point about smaller sensor doesn't equate to worse performance whatsoever. It's just depending whether you can capture that shot using that particular camera. And another photos that he showed me before was this, and that shows how big he actually printed from a 20 megapixel file. And that's again, if you're using Olympus gears or like any other equivalent system have similar sort of resolution like 18, 20, or 24 megapixel, you can print big. And the purpose of printing big is sometimes you have to realize that you actually have to stand a little bit further away to appreciate the photo. So the ultimate pixel to pixel level sharpness doesn't equate to in that sort of instances. So oh, going to have curfew. Oh no, really, Brianna? You're gonna have a curfew? Oh, geez, I haven't heard that yet, and from the UK, that's not too good. Well, but at least you can go out, I guess, is it? Or you just have to stay home like us at the moment, and you can only go out to grab food. And well, all the best to you, Burana. Hopefully everything's gonna be fine. So that's the point about printing big. I've seen some people using like 100 megapixel medium format camera to produce large prints, and you do see the difference in terms of sharpness when you go up close. But how often do you go up close to appreciate something that is printed by like 2 feet by 4 feet? Like that sort of big sizes prints or even bigger. You don't. You stand further back because otherwise you can't see. You can't see the whole picture. You're only seeing bits of it. So that's just the point about printing and of megapixels. I guess that kind of answers the question about size, sensor sizes. But what do you guys think about in today's like photography, digital photography world? What sort of thing you think is better, worse? And why people are craving for bigger format? I can understand it. When I was a film photographer, I was craving for certain aesthetic that smaller format couldn't give me. For instance, even today's 35 mil, and a full frame couldn't satisfy me. I was going for larger format, and that gives me a certain look. I mean, from that aspect, I could understand that. If you're really craving for that certain look, and then I would go for full frame or larger format in digital terms. But in film days, I remember clearly that the 35 mil wasn't big enough for me. I was looking for something just slightly more unique. So I was going for a medium format straight away, 120, shooting 6x6 or 7x6, and it was nice. It was fun. But that's the old day now. But today I'm quite happy with the little sensor from Micro Four Third, and it's also cool for my street photography, my documentary photography, and so forth. And I something to travel. You probably haven't seen it, and I didn't show yesterday. Is this? This is also another shot. I was a guest. I wasn't a wedding photographer on the day, but I was just a guest for the wedding, and I just took this, and again, actually from the Sony RX100V. In fact, this shot was actually better than the bride and groom's official photographer. Funny enough, they actually loved this photo, even though I wasn't exactly in the center of the frame. But it's fine. I captured all the emotions there, and the actual actions and the timing. The lighting was good, actually. Coming from a 1-inch sensor is not too bad, is it? And so I think, like I mentioned already, and you can't get wrong camera these days. And even a normal point and shoot, small, like cheaper ones, 300-400 pound jobs, you still be able to get you the shot that you want. Okay, so Burana, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. start. Wow. Okay. Oh, so you basically at night time you have to go home. You can't hanging around outside. Okay, that's not too bad, I guess. You can still kind of go out during the day. I hope everything's all good. Right, and let's see what other things I want to talk about. And today, let me just see. Oh, remember that I want to show you guys one video that made by BBC. I couldn't find the link from BBC. So I actually have a download because someone actually sent it to me via WhatsApp. So I actually have the video file. So I'm trying to get it to you guys now to show you what it looks like. Download and see if it's that one. Let me see if it's this one here. Yep, it is. Right, okay, I'm going to try to bring it up here on the screen.
Virus crisis is changing life as we know it.
Really nice little video. So like, please listen to the messages in this video. I think it's pretty awesome, pretty sweet. Trevor said, good exposure and focus is more important than the sensor size, but more essential with a small sensor. Yes, of course, absolutely right. But like anything, photography is all about light, right? So it's all about light. Okay, I'm gonna play this video because I think it's got a really good message, especially for us, you know, who are stuck at home and feeling a little bit depressed and down at the moment. And this is a very good BBC video that they made, and to look at the other side of lockdown.
Dramatically tonight.
I can't wait for a year's time, when all of this is a distant memory. And there is a corona baby boom because all the lovers were loving. And there is a rise in small businesses because all the entrepreneurs had a moment of stillness and creativity. And all the children remember nothing but a time when all the mums and dads were at home drawing and playing ball games, and we remember it as the time we all got to stop and be present. We will remember the time our health was our first priority, and people learnt new ways to use fresh produce to feed their families. We remember the laughter and fun on TikTok, FaceTiming with our friends and family each day, date nights in the house, and home PE workouts with Joe Wicks. A time our real heroes in the NHS urged us to stay at home for the greater good, and our country showing their support by turning Wembley and the Angel of the North blue. And we were all forced to think outside the box and dream up new things and reinvent old ways, and for once, even amongst the chaos, there was community. There was a global rise in togetherness, and as the streets were quiet, our homes were bustling with love and laughter. That time is coming soon, just like any other crisis before it. This will all be a distant memory, a thing we soon listen to our children discuss in classrooms, or once was, that we share with our grandchildren. So to you, I know it's unsettling, but focus on the silver lining. We're all in this together, and there is so much beauty to see.
Let me see. Oh, can you hear me now? Yes, good. All right. Okay. Well, what do you guys think about that that video? And I think it's really fabulous. And it really turned all the negatives that you think into positive. And it's just fantastic in terms of the whole entire productions, the whole message behind it. Yeah, fantastic. You know, like. I do agree, you know, especially like now you think that my kids are actually at home full time. You know, it just, you know, I've never spent that much time with them, you know, for the entire day, for 7 days a week. You know, apart from when they were babies, and so it is something, you know, to take away, you know, as a very positive feeling, and especially for the kids, you know, they love it. You know, every morning they jumped up to our bed and trying to wake us up, and you know, we had a little bit of fun every morning, and we did exercises, we do a bit of homework, but we go to the back garden to play, you know, and this is something you probably won't be able to do when they go back to school. So this is actually pretty good. So yeah, it's fantastic, right, Mazel? Yeah, it's I think it's a very sweet video, and I love it. I'm gonna save that video. You know, whenever I feel a little bit depressed or down while stuck at home, I'm gonna play that back, and this is something genuinely I think is really good. So any other question you may want to ask me about cameras and things like that, or photography, filmmaking, you're very welcome to ask me anything while I'm. So we still got about 10 minutes. I forgot to put the timer up today, but then I've been streaming for about 20 minutes now. Okay, so Trevor's got something. Okay, my new EM1 Mark III just turned up at the door while that video was playing. Fantastic! Now you got a new toy to play. Yeah, it is a really fantastic camera, and even though it has the same look as the Mark II, but once you pick it up, start shooting with it, you know what I mean. It's actually really fabulous, really, really good camera. And oh, that's one thing that I need to shout out to you guys. And if you are a new EM1 Mark III user, you know that it has a USB-C PD method, which means that you can actually power the camera while using the camera with the power bank or something. You need to make sure you have the compatible power bank and also cable to do the job. Ideally, you have something that you can pump out quite a bit of power from the power bank, like at least like a 30-watt USB PD output, and then you use a compatible proper USB-C charging cable to connect to the camera before you can actually use that feature. Otherwise, your camera will not be able to detect anything, and then it won't do the charge. Well, you do charging, but you won't be able to use your camera while plugged in. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so that's all good. Is there anything else I want to show you guys though? There is one photo that I want to show you for a long time. Some of you may have seen this if you have been following me for a while. And it's one of my favorite street photos and also won a few awards. So I'm just trying to dig it back again. Right, okay, I can't really see it from a list. So trying to find it now. Hopefully it's there somewhere. Did you guys ever did did you guys ever did this? You know, I asked you guys a couple of days ago to go to the back garden and try this, and this is a really fun photo, and I think you guys should try it. And well, I'm looking for that particular photo. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Right. Okay, let me just switch that off, and now I'm going to give you this photo. Oh, this is a bit too small. Right, okay, let me get a bigger version. And that must be this one. There you go. Right, yes, this is my one of my favorite street photos that I took. And fantastic. I love ultra low angles and stuff like that to accentuate the impact into the photo. I think that the elements that makes it work is even better is the lady standing behind the two dogs, and it was Marcel. Yeah, you recognize that shot? Yes, one of my classics. Yeah, when I was doing street photography, whenever I have opportunity to see pets, you know, or animals, I'll try to go really low down and do this sort of shot. But the only way you can do this successfully, in my view, is to use an ultra wide. And I think that day I was shooting with a 18 millimeters a lens on the full frame, so that would mean the equivalent to a 9 millimeters micro four third term. So you're gonna use a really wide lens and stop it down to f8 and just shoot freaking close to the camera. And great black and white representation. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a lomography lens. It was, yes, Marshall. You got good memory. Yes, it was a lomography lens, and I actually like that little guy there. And it was 18 millimeters 5.6, I think it was, and it's also a Zenith lens, and actually it's going for quite a bit of money actually in the used market. And if you find the original, the modern version, that the one that I use that is revived by lomography, wasn't that expensive. Well, it's about 400 pounds. But the used version, if you find a good original Russian version, and then it's going up to about 500-600 pounds, I think, and it's quite expensive for a Russian lens, you know, because if you guys are familiar with the vintage lenses market, you will know that the Russian lenses are basically dirt cheap. You know, you can get them for £5, £10, and this particular one actually going for quite a bit of money. And for some reason, it must have a cult status there. And I do like that lens though. You can see the character there is actually pretty decent. So this is a photo that I really enjoy. For the last few years now, and I haven't been able to capture something similar to that just because my job doesn't require me to go out as much these days, and things that I'm doing is slightly different to what I did a few years back now. Yeah, I kind of miss that. You know, maybe something that I would start again when this whole COVID-19 thing is over, and just trying to go out and shoot something again. But you never know. So I hope you guys like this photo, and see if I can find another one I can show you with similar kind of lomography thing. I do have one. I remember now. Lomography. Let me see. Because I like this kind of. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I like to play around with effects. You know, rather than having to use the post productions. You know, just to add digital effects. I try to do it in camera, like I mentioned all the time. So this is another shot that I've done with Zoha. And this is, I believe it was the Passable lens. Yes, it was the Passable lens. Once again, you know, if I think to use the right tool for the right job at the right time is very, very important. So this particular shoot I was doing was very 1950, 60 kind of look, and I was going for that very soft, kind of glowy effect, you know. And this is actually the natural look of the lens. It's no added effect in post-production, so I didn't do anything in Photoshop or in Lightroom. It's straight from the camera, you know. And so this is really cool. You know, I did process the photo into black and white through using the Nik Collection Silver Effects Pros. So if you don't know what that is, I am going to have a proper review of that software from DxO, and it's coming out in a couple of days. I'm still editing it, so you stay tuned for my YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link down in the description so you can check that channel out. Put on a bell notification so you know when that video comes out in a couple of days. So that is all good. So you can see that the vintage look here is really amazing. I really like the very kind of cool halo going into the whole entire scene, which is actually very, very nice. I like that. I like that. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get another lomography shot here, because I do have a fair amount. Just to show you guys, I think this is another one. Let me just see if this is the one. I know this is Camlan. I don't know. Do you guys know about Camlan? It's another cheap lens by Chinese. So this is not Russian. This is actually a China lens, and I shot with Zoha once again. So this is a Camlan 50 millimeters 1.1 in micro four third mount. Interesting, right? You know, I got it for £120, which is actually very, very cheap. And so I was curious about it, so I got it just to have a play and see what it looks like. And in fact, it's turned out to be quite a decent portrait lens, especially on the micro four third platform, because it becomes 100mm. Yeah, it's pretty decent. And this is the Mark II version. The Mark II is way sharper than the Mark I. So if you want to get one of these guys, and look for the Mark II, not the Mark I. And let's see if I have anything. Gotta go. All right. Okay, Barana, thank you for joining me. And you two stay safe. All the best in Thailand, and I will see you soon. So let's see if there's any other. Oh, I think this is another lomography. No, this is not the lomography. This is another Zoha. I've done a lot of photos for Zoha. And this is oh, what's this lens? I can't remember what lens it was. It was 7 Artisan. 7 Artisan, yes. Kaniti-san, if you still there, remember that lens from your friend. You know, and when you came over to the UK, he left it with me, and I shot with it. That's quite an interesting lens it was, and I like the kind of very old vintage look once again. So that is pretty awesome. So yeah, the skin tone is pretty cool, right? And there you go. As I got you another shot. Let me see if right. This is interesting. Right, this is another vintage lens. If you guys into vintage lens, so this is another Zoha. My God, I've shot a lot with Zoha, and this is my trusty and very, very a good, and one of my favorite vintage lenses is the Canon FD mount, in a very old manual mount, 85mm 1.2L. You know, so on the micro four third system is equivalent to 170mm, so it's very long, but it's pretty amazing lens, and it's got a lot of optical flaws there. If you inspect the photo closely, you actually see fringings and things like that, but this is to be expected as such with such an old lens. And but overall, I love it. I love the lens. I love the character coming out from it. The compression was great, and it just amazing, and I just really find it interesting, and the overall look of it. I have again build your own twin lens reflex here. The build must get it built sometime. Really, you got a twin lens reflex build kit. You know what, Trevor? I do have a lomography medium format paper camera that I haven't built yet. So I might actually make a video with my kids just to have my kids have some fun, decorating the camera and put them together and then shoot something with it. So that will be pretty cool. Romaine, okay, 55 1.4. Okay, I haven't tried that lens though. I tried the 50 1.1. And so this particular one is the 85 1.2L or the old Canon FD system. So that's all good. So let's see if I can show you other vintage stuff here. And I got loads of vintage stuff because I love vintage lenses. If I got a chance, I always like to buy them and test them. I think this is another one. I think this is another camland shot. This is a camland, and camland's not bad, right? I think it looks good. The bokeh looks really nice and soft and creamy. It's definitely not clinically sharp compared to modern lenses, but I like the character. Like sometimes sharpness isn't everything, and I saw my previous paper camera, Trevor. No, not that one. That one's horrible. To be honest, that is. But having said that, you know what? Yeah, I think the people who made that paper camera actually saw my videos and they sent me another one. I haven't tested yet, and they sent me another one. Actually, put a note inside the box saying that we changed manufacturer, so this one is supposed to rectify all the defects from the previous generation. They didn't mention about my video, but they just sent me a box with a note in it. So I'm pretty sure they saw my video and they sent it to me. I haven't actually tried it. In fact, they have another Kickstarter, and it was another Insta cameras, I think, but with a wooden box. But having said that, after that experience, I didn't back the project. Even it looks quite interesting, but I just didn't want to go ahead and pay my money, and I don't want to waste it. They were quite good sending me another one, to be honest. I have to maybe give it another try to see whether it works or not. And I do have a couple of more packs of Instax films lying around, so I may want to try to see whether it's actually okay. Let's see if I can find other photos and that will interest you. Right. So how are you all wherever you are at the moment? Let me know. Okay, wow, I have tons of photos here. This is a Zeiss lens. Okay, I'm not showing you the Zeiss. I want to show you something rather vintage, and let's see if I can find anything cool. Right, oh, you guys love Charlie. I think you guys remember Charlie. And oh, this is actually interesting. This one, this is right. This is Zali, and that I took of her in Covent Garden. And right, you guys may not see it because it's such a small screen on that I'm doing live at the moment. But this is a handheld high-res shot from the EM1X. You can actually do high-res shot, for portraits, but of course you have to make sure there's no wind, your subject is not moving, and so you have to be quite careful what you do. And but it's pretty amazing that you can actually do this. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Right. Okay. And let me see if there is anything else I can show you. If not, then I'll probably call it a day. It's 30 minutes now, 35 minutes. So I will just do maybe a couple more. Speaking of black and white, if you guys like black and white, I will give you another black and white, I guess. How about self-portrait now? You've seen these pictures already, so I'm not going to show you that. Right, this, perhaps. Do you remember her, Paulina? One of my early co-hosts on my YouTube channel. So this was a portrait that I did for her, and in a restaurant. So we basically used the restaurant as a location. So we was doing a whole bunch of different photos there, and yes, I love that dress that she got there. It's from a designer from India, so it's actually very, very good. And once again, this is another photo that I took with the 85mm 1.2 FD lens on Paulina, and you can see that it's just pretty darn amazing. The rendering from the background is very, very good. So let's see if I can get other stuff going. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Oh, if you want to see what that lens looked like, lens, and I'm talking about the 85 1.2. Wow, that's massive. So I mount it on my Leica, I mount it on my OMD cameras, I mount it on anything, and because it is quite easy these days with mirrorless camera, just throw an adapter to it and it works. So it's really a massive lens. This is. Imagine it's an 85 1.2. You know, it's pretty cool, pretty sick. Okay. Right, looks like I probably can't find any more of the vintage lenses that I want to show you guys, but I will end the shot with one of my street photos. I'm gonna, big glass indeed, it was very big, and I am trying to find one. All right, this is another Percival lens. This is another Percival lens. So I'm gonna end today's talk with this photo here. So this is the it was a Percival 85 f2. I can't remember, f2.2. I quite enjoy using that lens, and it's very quirky. It's not for everyone. The focusing action is ridiculous, you know, because using one of these little brass knob underneath the lens to turn, and it's never easy to shoot with those kind of lenses because it was originally made for plate cameras. You know, they were these big giant wooden box things. You know, so the lens is actually rested on a support. So, you know, it's not really made for today's camera, so the ergonomic is awful, but then it's interesting. If you're feeling a bit nostalgic, you know, and lomography lenses can sometimes really satisfy that nostalgic crave, you know, in your system. You know, you can get it all out when you just use one of those lenses. It's, oh man, that feels so good. It just brings you all those old film analog days, you know, the memories and that feeling. So that's all cool. Backlit photo, thank you, and it's interesting. I love shooting backlit. You know, if you see a lot of my photos on my websites and stuff, you will see that I love backlit shots a lot. This is kind of my thing. I'm doing it, and if you want, like, I think I got another one to show. If you like backlit, I think I showed it a couple of days ago with that particular shot. Backlit is my game. I think, let me just find it. I think I've got it in here somewhere. Right, come on. It's somewhere here, I'm pretty sure, because I see it somewhere. You know why I like shooting backlit? Because I think backlit shot will give a more genuine, warm feeling to the whole photos, you know, because backlit just give you that little bit of a kick, you know, when you do a photo. I just find it really cute, you know, whenever you do something. Let me just try to find a bloody photo, man. I'm trying to find it. Come on, show it to me. Where is it? Okay, not there. Oh dear, I do not know where it is now. Okay, strange enough, it is not there. I only saw it a few days ago, so I have no idea where it's gone. Okay, in that case, I won't show you any more. I think we're going to end today's talk, and I'm going to do some more tomorrow, but I will give you this because I want to look at the beach, because I miss the beach, I miss the outdoor now. You know, it's almost like, you know, you're feeling like that you are stuck in a prison. He's kind of had that feeling, cabin fever. You know, you just looking out of the windows. Oh, I want to go. I want to drive somewhere. I just want to do something. You know, and it's gonna be a while in London before we can actually do that. So I'm looking forward to it, and just to see what happens. Do you try to boost contrast in pose on backlit photo? No. I actually don't. I left it, and it depends on what it is. Contrast is too generic, too global. I mean, if I want to add some sort of definitions to the photo in backlit situations, I would probably boost a little bit dehaze, and then but only just gently. Then I will use the editing brush to just brush up certain areas that I want to review a little bit more, to make it a little bit more defined and have some sort of definition, in terms of 3Ds and pop and things like that. So I might do that depending on the situation. So it's quite hard to pinpoint what I do usually on the photo. I just have to look at the file, in general, just to process it to my liking. Hope that makes sense. I rarely do global adjustments apart from highlights and shadows and maybe exposures sometimes. These are the things that I may do globally, and usually I just do a lot of local adjustments. Speaking of local adjustment, like I mentioned, I'm actually reviewing a software. So you have to really stay tuned for my YouTube, because I am doing a review for that particular software, and I do think it's actually pretty good. Especially you're already sick and tired of paying Adobe monthly, and this is a one-off charge software, which is actually pretty darn good. Especially is reasonably good, and I've also got a reader exclusive offer from when you watch the video. There's a discount code there, so really stay tuned for that, and that's pretty awesome. I'm not selling them. It's an impartial review. I do talk about the good and the bad about that software, but if you're interested in that sort of editing, yeah, it's pretty good. Give it a try. Anyway, so enough to shout out. So I'm gonna end my talk now. It's 42 minutes. God, I'm going a bit longer than usual because I don't have my timer. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow once again. Remember, my live is between 11 to 11:30 usually, daily on the Facebook. So stick around here, set your alarm. I'll be here Monday to Friday. So one more day tomorrow, then I'll be resting for 2 days and doing some other things I need to do for family or my work. And then I'll see you the following week. And also I will do a live photography 101 on my YouTube channel on Wednesdays between 3 o'clock to 3:45, sometimes 4 o'clock, depending on the subjects and how many people participating and asking me stuff. I will be there doing that as well. So I'm going to put all the details in the description, yes, under this live stream, and you can also see all the links to all the products that I use for today's shoot, and like all my stream stuff. So yeah, this is the gear that I use, and you can find all the links there. Trevor already used my code for some lovely discount, and then so you can actually go down there and check out the list there. Yeah, there you go. Of course, that you can buy me a coffee, and remember to buy me a coffee. There is also the link is also down there as well. Okay, I'll see you guys soon, and then have a good day, have a fabulous day, and I hope everyone is live and well. And also remember, wash your hands properly and keep the distance going. Stay home for your NHS staff in the UK or the healthcare people all around the world. We all in this together and just trying to be good. Yeah, don't do anything silly. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yep. All right, bye for now.